Thanks again for coming to this morning's session on creating and managing compelling content with Absorb's Create. We're really excited to have you here. If you've ever wanted to learn the inside scoop on how to use Create LI effectively, you'll be really glad that you came for this morning's presentation led by Sandra George. From learning how to create an engaging course quickly to being inspired with a variety of training content that can be created with Create LI, you'll get an in-depth overview on this online course builder and authoring tool. Before we go ahead, I just want to cover a few quick housekeeping things. This session is being recorded and it will be available to view starting next week in the Summit portal. All attendees have their cameras off and are muted. But please note that we have turned on chat for this session. So if you have any questions throughout the session, please use the chat and submit your questions, and we'll be hosting a Q&A at the end. So I'd like to introduce you to our speaker. Sandra George has been a product manager at Absorb for 2 years, focusing on content authoring. As a former teacher and trainer, Sandra is particularly passionate about creating content that is easily absorbed by learners and to provide creators with tools that help them achieve their content goals. In her free time, Sandra enjoys spending time with her family and watching Friends. I won't judge you for that, Sandra. Thanks so much, Sandra. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thanks everyone for joining us. So today's goal from our session is basically talking about content. What are the challenges that we face with content? Learning management systems are great, but you need content to manage so that you can have that in your management system. So our goal today is to talk about the challenges. We'll see how we in Absorb can provide you with content, not only content authoring, as well as ready-made libraries. We're going to touch on that. And we are going to see how you can overcome a lot of challenges using our internal tool. And there is a sneak peek into a new feature that we're releasing next month that is going to help solve a lot of challenges. So as we mentioned, we're going to talk about content, how to create engaging content. There will be a demo on Absorb Create, our internal authoring tool, and how you can use that to overcome the challenges. And we're going to also talk about how you can get that tool and give it a free trial, or if you are an existing client, how you can get more resources. The content. Those are the 4 points that we're going to touch on. Let's get right into the content challenges. What types of content and what challenges do you have every single day? There are 2 challenges that you can have with your content. First, you need to create some content, which could be very expensive. You will need expertise to do compelling content. You will need the tools to create the compelling content. And that's not all. You will need to make this content engaging so that your learners can absorb this and retain the information. So it's a bit of a challenge to have all of this. If you want to outsource creation of content, that's expensive and time consuming. And you will need an expert to do that for you. You will need the tools, engaging. There is also managing this content. So after this content is created, you need to be able to track what your learners are getting, whether they're completing the courses, whether they're falling behind, whether they're answering questions correctly, whether they're retaining the information. There's a lot of things here. You will need reporting for this. And consistency could be a challenge. You can have that, invest a lot in creating content. But then how can you keep that content up to date and update it all the time? We have a client who uses our tools that works in the construction field. Every single day, there's something new. every single day they need to update some of the codes that they've been used before. So they need to go back and update this content. If you're outsourcing that, that could be very, very expensive and time consuming. There's also a big challenge of moving to a new tool like Absorb Create. You might have your authoring tool, or you might even be using PowerPoint or PDFs or other forms to add learning or content to your learning management system. But what if you want to move to a new tool, to start using a new tool? That could be a bit of a challenge. What if your internal team, you already have a tool, but your internal teams do not have access to this tool, do not have the expertise to use this tool? What are you going to do? So, content. What is the content types that you have in your company? So any company will have company-specific content, which is content that is related internally to your own processes. It's only tailored to your own internal processes, and a common general content that is the same across all workspaces. For the internal content, you've got onboarding new employees, got internal processes, HR and information, even using your own internal tools, compliance, job-specific training. All of this content needs to be built in-house. Outsourcing that could be really expensive and time-consuming, and will not get you the expected results that you want. The other type, as we said, is general between all workplaces. Time management, mental health, work ethics, leadership, teamwork, you name it. There's a lot of things that you can purchase as a content. You won't need to update as much, but you still need to get it done by an expert. We do have that offering here in Absorb. You can connect with our agents to talk about Absorb Amplify, which is our library of over 160 courses that you can purchase. Will integrate right into your LMS, your Absorb LMS, and you can start enrolling your clients in. Don't forget to ask us about that. We have more variety of other partners and libraries that you can connect with and get a common content or the generic content that you want. But there's still this challenge, your internal content, your internal processes. If you are going to take that on and say, well, okay, internally, we will create our content. We will have our content done internally. You need to have that content engaging. Because if you created the most detailed content ever with all the information that you need, and it's not engaging, learners will not absorb any of that, and then all this effort will go to waste. If you outsource it, even this money will go to waste. So how can you do that without needing to have the expertise or without needing to contact or outsource that information? So you need to know that the engaging content nowadays needs to be interactive, bite-sized, relatable, and always up to date. Let's take a look at other platforms, social media platforms. Right now, YouTube has shorts, TikTok, small short videos, engaging, relatable, and up to date, always updated. Facebook Reels, there's all a variety and wide variety of engaging platforms that create this kind of content, like press on the button, subscribe, do this, do that. This is engaging, interactive. You have to capture the learner's attention. Bite-sized, it's not long. They're short videos that anyone can watch. Nowadays, if you want to, let's say, bake a cheesecake, would you watch a video or a show with 20 minutes to tell you how to bake a cake, or you will look for the shortest video there is possible so that you can bake the cake right away. That's exactly what our learners want. That's what everything around us is being set. Short videos, interactive, relatable, up to date. It can't be a thing of the past. It has to be up to date and always updated. Relatable, it has to speak to me. It has to speak to my situation. That's why creating content could be challenging. So that's why most of, as we said, social media platforms, most of the companies right now are going towards microlearning. There is a study that was done that how much of time needs to be on a video or in a course for people to retain the information. The best time, the average, is from 3 to 6 minutes, as we see from the chart. Less will be less amount of information that you can present. More time, then the concentration and the focus of your learners is going down. Therefore, retaining information is going down. So we cannot assume that my learners are going to watch 1 hour long video to know how to use the system. But I can break that down into smaller bite-sized so that they can learn how to do one thing at a time. Next day, they will learn another thing. So creating shorter videos will increase learners' retention. Keep that in mind. That's very important. You can introduce not only videos, quizzes, assessments, everything within the 3 to 6 minutes. We have one of our customers who are using our product. They have a 5-minute video with 3 questions every single day for their employees before they start working. So every single day, employees would go in and will learn something new, one thing new, every single day. They will get tested on it by answering the knowledge check questions. Then our client would follow up on the reporting and see who's answering, who's reviewing the course, who's not. And based on that, they can get in touch with that person and remind them to take the course if not. But that's how they retain the information. Small bit-sized, micro-learning, get tested on it, move to the next step. Now, what we're going to do is that we need to solve those challenges. We need to maintain our content, create our content, and make it easy for our learners to retain the information. If we go back to our challenges that we talked about, is that if I don't have any content and I want generic content, contact us for Absorb Amplify. And we are going to provide you with generic courses, generic topic courses. But what if you want to create something internally? Let's talk about what we're doing today. I have a PowerPoint presentation that I want to share with the rest of the team and have it as part of our learning goals for the rest of the company to know about the challenges that we face with content. And that's the sneak peek into our new feature that I'm going to show you right now. That's a PowerPoint deck. Okay. So right now I'm in our LMS. And I want to get this PowerPoint into our system so that our learners would enroll into this course. All managers can enroll their clients, their employees into this course. But how can I do that? If you have Create, Absorb, Create, which is our authoring tool, which is going to help you solve a lot of these challenges. Let's say I do have that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new content. Okay, I want to create this content. As you can see, right away, it asks me, what type of course do you want to create? Do you want to use some of our themes? I don't have any experience creating content. But let's say I want to upload this PowerPoint deck. That's our new feature. This is not live yet. This is going to be live by the end of this year, before the end of this year as well. So PowerPoint, I will say Summit content. I'm going to hit continue. It's asking me to upload the file. I'm going to go to my desktop here and upload this file. Okay, I'm opening it. That's why it doesn't want to upload. Let me get another PowerPoint here. Okay, now I've uploaded the PowerPoint. It's taking some time to upload. This is a new feature that we're releasing. We have one of our clients who's waiting for this. Oh, I haven't clicked upload. One of our clients who's waiting patiently for this feature because they have multiple branches. Each branch or each franchise has their own internal processes. They create PowerPoint decks, submit it back to the head office for the office to create compelling courses. And that could be a bit of a challenge because you will need to redo all the PowerPoint decks again to make sure that it is engaging, relatable, and easy to update. Well, with this new feature, and for this client, if you're watching us, here is our feature coming to you. So this client's challenge was that they have about 40 different franchises. If I remember the number correctly, they come back to them with promotional offers that would only last for 3 months. And they need to ensure that the employees are trained for 3 months. So to recreate all the PowerPoint decks for 3 months is a bit of a challenge. But as you can see right over here, this is our PowerPoint converted, and that's not all. You can actually edit and add the text, edit the text as you go. It's not just converting over PowerPoint, it's adding and changing the text. This is our PowerPoint here, our topics, where we can say content. So I can make changes to the PowerPoint. Unlike other tools that are in the market, where you can just, it takes a screenshot and it doesn't help you edit. But this PowerPoint converter tool is the tool that you are looking for. That's going to help you solve those challenges. It's not only that, you upload it. You can publish right away. You can make it more compelling. So how can I make it more compelling? I'm sure you're asking. You can add questions on top of the slide, or you can even add extra slides with screen recordings and video, upload video, quiz, branching scenario, and that helps you branch people from one scenario to another. If somebody says no to a question as an answer or yes, you can have them go different ways, or even external content. This is how you can make it engaging. So you overcome the challenge of having a PowerPoint tool or bringing content over to your tool, editing it and making it up to date, keeping it up to date, as well as making it engaging and adding questions. Now, if I'm done, let's say I'm done, everything is okay here, I can add accessibility feature. If you have customers or learners that would use this feature, you can add that. The screen reader is going to read everything you add here, and it's going to help if somebody needs this without being able to see. But if I'm done with everything, I converted my PowerPoint from those branches. I've added it here. I've made the edits. I've added questions. Let's say I want someone to give me their feedback. Let's say the manager that I got this from asks me someone to help me out. I can request their feedback. So if I added Adam here and I asked him to check my course, what's going to happen is simply Adam can come right over here and tell me, well, can you, Sandra, can you please check this? So what did Adam do here? Adam is reviewing my deck. He's telling me what exactly to change. So now I moved content over. I edited, made it more engaging, and reviewed it with a peer or with a SME. And now after I review this, I make the comment, I can respond to Adam back here. I can check this as resolved. Now my content is ready. The only thing that's missing is publish. So I can publish this straight into my LMS. When you publish things, when you use Create to convert your content and publish it through to the LMS, which is Absorb LMS, now you have the ability to track that course. Now your PowerPoint will be converted into XAPI. It's going to be in your LMS. Now it's trackable. It's not just a PDF that somebody can open, not interactive, not engaging. You cannot monitor that. You cannot control it. It's just there to check a mark. No, now it's going to be a course with questions that you can maintain, you can go over with very minimal. As you can see, we did it in a few minutes. You don't need to recreate everything, re-edit everything. If you made a mistake, you go back to your PowerPoint deck, make changes, and then recreate. You don't need that. You can maintain it from here. Once it processes to the LMS, it will create a course that you can then start enrolling your clients in. Now that solves a big challenge for one of our customers. And again, if you're watching, it's coming soon. There's also another challenge that could make, not only for our customer who's waiting for this, but also for if you don't have Absorb Create right now, you want to start using Absorb Create. You have a lot of things on PowerPoint. Now you can move over easily to Create with doing that. Let's take a look. Now my course is published. Another caveat is that you can download that into your as a SCORM package. Let's take a look. You can download that as SCORM package, 2004, 1.2, XAPI, and HTML. If you want to extract your content from Absorb Create and Absorb LMS, maybe put it on your website, or if you have another tool that works in parallel with Absorb LMS. Going back to our course, let's take a look. Now I'm going back into my LMS. Now my course, my PowerPoint, is now pushed as a course or a lesson into the LMS. I can use it right away by activating this course, giving it a name, and start adding learners to it. So that's one course. Or now I'm publishing this. I can use this as a course right now. Or if I have another course and I need to use this as a lesson in another course, I can do that as well. Let's say, okay, that's selected. Let's go right over here and go to adding an object right over here, adding a learning object. I will use existing because now it's an existing part of my LMS. And I'll click next. Okay, I can find this course. As you can see, summit content. So I can add this as part of the other course as well. So as you can see, I shared it here too. What if I wanted to edit this? We talked about keeping things consistent and keeping things up to date. Let's say things changed. I want to update. What do I need to do? I will jump back into create. Okay. And I'll go back to my create. Let's go back to the summit content. And I can make the change that I need. I know Kim loves this diamond, so I'm going to add it here. Let's say I made some change. We have a client who needs to update their courses every year because of compliance purposes. So this is why it's very important to get a tool that's easy to use, easy to maintain your courses. Make sure it's easy to update. So let's say you're this client that is updating their courses every year with the latest codes. So I made this update. I'm going to publish. As you can see, the system is telling me, well, this has been changed since the last time you published this. You sure you want to start doing that? This is going to show everywhere this course is used, and it's going to update all the courses. Well, I'm sure that that's what I want to add. So I will say publish. Once I hit publish, my courses are updated everywhere it's been used. Even if I used it in multiple other courses as a lesson, it's updated everywhere. This is why it's easy to use Absorb Create. You can overcome a lot of those challenges. You have control over your content, you're owning it. You don't need experience to create that. You can use a PowerPoint deck to convert it. You can use even some of our templates to create content, as long as you keep that in mind. Bite-sized, engaging, relatable, and always up to date. You'll own your own content. Okay, once it's published, it's right over there. I'm going back to my LMS, and I can go to, let's say I want to see the answers of the questions. You can also check that from the assessments reports. Once I go to assessments here, I'm able to track that. Let's say you don't have this type of content. You won't be able to track what questions, what answers, if people are engaged, if people are using the system. So let's take a look at this course here, and I can look at answers report. And why is this important? This is important because I want to see if my questions are actually relatable, if people are getting it, if people are answering the correct answer, if people are not answering the correct answer, if it's vague, if it's not clear. And if you go back to create, you can also add a survey question to ask, what do you think about my course? What's needed? What's missing? What did you learn? And view that here in assessments and help create a better content, more engaging content. This is how it's important to have control over your content. Let's imagine a scenario where you didn't have that and you're outsourcing all of that. It's so difficult to keep that engaging and as well updated, and it's very expensive. I worked in this field. It is expensive. Okay. Now that we've seen create, we've seen how you can overcome all of those challenges with create. How can you get your hands on create if you don't have that? If you are a create client, you need more information, You can contact us. You can check our knowledge base for information. If you don't have Absorb Create, if you're an Absorb LMS client, but you do not have Create as part of your Absorb LMS offering, contact your account manager, your Absorb agent, ask them for a free trial. It's 21 days free trial where you can get the most out of Absorb Create. And if you need a sneak peek into the PowerPoint, let them know, and I will, I can enable that for you before it's launched. It is launching this November, so it's going to be out soon. And if you are a prospect of Absorb, well, welcome. We hope you're you like our Absorb LMS plus our Absorb Create content, the two parts of any successful LMS. So going back to our topics that we discussed today, got content, own your own content. What are the challenges that you're facing, and how to make your content engaging, how to use Absorb Create to overcome the challenges and make your content creative, as well as how you can get a free trial of Absorb Create. Yeah, I'm done with my presentation. So back to you, Kim.
Thank you, Sandra. That was great. I learned some new things myself. We've got some great questions coming in from Jim. Thanks, Jim, for submitting your question. How long does it take a new user to learn to use Create LI? And what's the best approach to learning?
It's actually pretty easy. You can learn that in, like, I would say less than a day, an hour. It's pretty easy. If we go back, allow me to go back. When you click here, Jim, on create content, it's very easy. If you know how to use PowerPoint, you will know how to use Create. Okay. You can hit the ground running by using one of our theme templates. So if let's use this, I'll call it Jim. And you can, as you can see, Jim, we have templates and slides that you can use right away and start working with Create. We also have animated slides that you can use that's ready for you to use, Jim. So it will take you, like I'm saying an hour. I'm saying an hour, maybe less than that. You will hit the ground running.
It really looks really nice and easy to use. I like a lot of the drag and drop functionality that's there, Sandra. That just makes it so approachable.
Yeah, that's one of our main focuses, Kim, is just creating something that's easy to use. Anybody can use it, so you don't need this expertise. Other tools out there, I've had clients tell me that they have instructional designers in-house to create all of their content, and they use very sophisticated tools that I've used before.
Right.
Well, Create can do way better in way less time.
It's great. Thanks. We've got another question from Ed. Ed, thanks for your question. Does Create LI have the ability to add text to speech?
We don't have that right now, but what we have is you can record an audio. You can record audio right away from Create and add it on the slide. We don't have the text to speech yet. It's on our bucket list or our wish list to add, but it's not there now. What you can do to overcome this is record the audio per slide, add it on the slide. It will convert that
So add like captioning or subtitles on your audio slides.
Yeah, and if you have a video slide, that's a good point. If I'm choosing to add a video, let me add a video. Like we have one of those, one of our internally in Absorb, we use Create to train our staff on the new tools. So this is one of the new features that we're adding for our internal staff to know how to use. Oh, I've added it as on top of Okay, Jim, we are going to use your course, if that's okay.
Jim didn't
Let
know he
me,
was going to be a part of it.
let's add a new page with a video. And I'm going to pick the same video. So now what I can do is go to here over subtitles and auto transcribe, choose the language, let's choose English, because that's in English. Once the transcription is back, you can add, it will be the closed caption that you add on a video.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it just
Okay.
might take a few minutes, but it will be the caption that you can add. So you have the video with the caption, or if Anne wants to add like text on audio on a text, then you can do that by the audio recording. And here, if that's it, if I go back here, I can add my, as you can see, it's showing up the closed caption.
Wow, that's great. That works really well to support that functionality of text to speech. We have another question coming in, Sandra. Thanks for that one. Thank you again, Ed, for your question. Can you create a course and Absorb, then export it so a client can upload it into their LMS that's not Absorb? Is it possible to export a course and upload it into another LMS?
If it's created by Create, yes. Like you can go right over here and download it, export it into a different format and upload it somewhere other than Absorb. If that answers the question. Yeah,
it sure does. Thanks. Another anonymous question. Thank you, anonymous. Can you use Create to make accessible content?
Yes, you can. We have accessibility right over here. Let's say, let me get you one of the, let me add this slide, for example. I'll use this one. As you can see in the accessibility feature or accessibility tab, if I click here, it shows the order, displaying order. What does that mean? That means if there is a screen reader that's going through the information here or reading for someone who's unable to read whatever is on the screen, that's the order that is going to read it. We have a default order that we have, which is top to bottom, left to right. But if you want to customize that, you can. If you use custom order here, you can move things around, have them read. If I want this to be marked as decorative, I can do that. I mark it as decorative. It will not be read. I can add, if this image here, I want to add alt text for and say men standing on glacier or on ice, whatever. I can do that, and that's going to create this accessible content. Because this is up to your creativity with the slide, we are giving you the tools to make sure you manage that properly. We had one of our clients who was waiting anxiously for this tool and is using it right now on every single course, and even going back to courses. We released this earlier this year. So you can have the ability to do that, even with adding some questions. If you click on questions, as you can see, those 2 questions are now accessible. So you can use those multiple choice, true or false question, and even on the survey questions, which don't need to have a correct answer. They're just survey. You can use those for accessibility, and they are compatible. For videos, if you want to add the video and add the caption, the closed caption, it is accessible. So yes, the short answer is yes, and the long answer is like what I just showed.
That's fantastic, Sandra. So that's great that you can make your content accessible to everyone, certainly a broader audience. That's great. A question from Tammy. Thank you, Tammy, for submitting this question. Can you create videos using Create?
Thank you, Tammy. Yes, you can. You can record videos. If I select video, there are two types of videos. First, you can add a video on top of the slide, or you can have a new video slide like this one here. I can start screen recording. So if I use this record, let's call it record. I'm going to check this. I can choose which input device I'm using, and then I can start recording. It's going to ask me which window you want. Let's record this window because I'm on my laptop. I don't have any other window. Let's record this. And it's going to show me if I had another, if I moved back to the PowerPoint, then it's recording my PowerPoint right now. Whatever, it will record voice as well. If you select the audio to be recorded, it records voice. A lot of our customers use this to train their employees on the tools and the new tools. They will show them how to do that using that. And then once I can pause if I need to change screen or do something else. I can resume. Once I'm resuming, it's just giving me a warning that, hey, we're recording back. Once I stop, I can edit my recording as well. You don't need to edit somewhere else or record somewhere else. Everything is done here from Create. That's part of like giving you power over your content, making it easy for you. If I can take away the ums and pauses if I wanted, which I do a lot. So I like to use the tool. And I save. What's going to happen is that recording, it's going to save this video and then create a slide with this video on it. And then I can add subtitles if there is audio to it to make it more accessible, make it more engaging. I can add a question that would pause the slide and have people retain certain type of information and come back to the slide. So yeah, you can.
That's great. I love that you can record and edit right within Create. We have time for one last question, Sandra. I just said that you're going to have to cut out of the recording, but we have one last question from Adam. You touched on it earlier. There's collaboration within the tools. Can you show a little bit more about the collaboration that Create supports?
Absolutely. So the collaboration here is the comments. And thanks, Adam, for asking that question. You don't need to be an editor or you don't need to have a license for Create to add your feedback or for me to request your feedback. On this, what you need to be is part of the elements. So if I'm the editor, I'm the one who created content. Kim is my manager. She doesn't have access to Create. She doesn't need to create content in Create, but I still need her feedback. She's part of the elements. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look her up here. Oh, Adam, I'll add this. And I will say, can you please, I will find her here in the drop down since she's in the elements. And then I can say, can you please review my course? I will send this invitation. She's now part of this. If we go back here, this is all the courses. That's what Kim is going to see. So Adam, if you're added as a reviewer, this is what you are going to see. You will not be able to edit. So if I go over here, maybe because I'm an admin, you'll be able to edit, but you won't be able to edit as a reviewer only. And I can start adding comments. That's all the comments. So if I skip to a certain page, if I double click this right over here, it's going to take me, if I mentions here are going to show me pages, and it's a collaboration. It's a two-way. So I can say, well, can you please update this information or change this information? And then Kim is going to give me feedback back and forth until we resolve the issue. And how I can click on display mode to see exactly what the learner is going to see the experience without seeing the comments, but then go back over here and write my comments as a reviewer. I don't need to have a license as a reviewer. We left that open because you're not editing the content, but you still want to leave your feedback. So if you're the HR team who's responsible to manage the LMS, you took a PowerPoint from one of your departments, let's say sales department, uploaded it into the LMS, but then you need their feedback just to see if things are on the right track. You can add them. They will give you their feedback. You can close that. They don't need to be creators. They don't need to have access. So Adam, if that answers your question, then great. If not, let me know if you need more context. But it's a way of chatting rather than having to review that over email or over a meeting. It's at your own convenience, showing exactly where the issue is by moving this around, maybe change the picture, change the colors, whatever you want to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandra. This was a really great presentation. Thank you, everyone who attended in whatever time zone you're on. We appreciate that. There's lots of things that you can do with your time. So we hope that this was a very valuable presentation for you. We'd like to also let you know about our next presentation coming up. Sandra, if you don't mind moving to that slide, their next session is coming up is on October 20th. It is the same time as this one, so I know you can make it. Using accessible courseware and report data to drive learner engagement. So that aligns nicely with this. How do you create that engaging content, and how do you make it available to your learners? That's going to be hosted by Nicholas Kita, who's the Senior Director of Training at Prime Flight Aviation Services. So we hope you're able to join us with that. So thanks again for attending. The recording will be available, as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, at the Summit portal next week. Thanks again and have a great day. Thanks, Sandra.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.